opening night, I really appreciate our fans tonight. I thought we had a great crowd here, and we all appreciate that. Disappointed really in our senior play, and we're counting on Jordan Bowden and Lamonte Turner to do a lot for us, and they're turning the ball over way too much. Shot selection is not what we want it to be from those guys. I mean, you look at our post guys' numbers, it's obvious they need to touch the ball more. They need to get it. And I think it's up to Jordan and Lamonte both to realize we've got new pieces we've got to put together and fit into this, what we're doing. And it's up to them to do that and let those guys get settled in. And Josiah is not going to get settled in until he understands our offense and what we're trying to do. And we had too many guys early trying to make home run, high risk plays, and it's high risk, high reward. But there were some good things. Defensively, we were where we wanted to be, and at the very end, we had a makeshift lineup out there that Folky didn't think he could play anymore, and he missed. He hadn't practiced for the 2 days leading up to the game. Had a little growing pull, but I thought he really gave us what he could tonight. He did some really good things. Olivier just needs time, and but those guys need to be included in what we're doing. But defensively, we were there until the very end, until they just put their head down and started driving the ball. But we're going to have to deal with that. This time of year, a lot of that takes place in college basketball, and we'll get better. We'll get better at doing that. But we've got to there's no, and again, they were up there showing pressure, and all they were doing was really trying to deny the ball in, take it out of Lamonte's hand. That doesn't bother me because we start the game basically with 4 guards. I mean, he's played on the perimeter for 2 years, and with Bowden or Josiah, those guys can run what we need to run. But it wasn't that. As once we got down, it was our decision in terms of just not protecting the ball.
Rick, you seem like you're about to on the verge of blowing a gasket after some of the turnovers in the first half. What do you attribute that to? Was it early season jitters, which is just lack of execution? What was your impression of that?
Well, I talked about that today. I thought the last two, the scrimmage and the exhibition game, I do think that we had the jitters, and we talked about that today. I just told everyone if they'd get lost in their teammates, that'll settle down. If you'll just look at your teammates and say, I'm going to take care of you, as opposed to thinking I got to go score. Last game, there was no doubt everybody felt like they had to score, and you expect a little bit of that. But again, the frustration is in Lamonte Turner and Jordan Bowden. I mean, 2 games in a row, they've combined for over 10 turnovers, and I don't know, they've done that since they've been here. And then we need them to score, but Lamonte continues to take the lowest percentage shots in basketball. You can't shoot a 3 stepping on the line. And he asked me, he said, what do you want me to do? I said, pass the ball. And he did one time, and Ticket scores. And Lamonte's been as good a leader, if not the best leader we've had since we've been here. He's just now got to get settled in and realize it's up to he and Bowden, especially to get these other guys included so they will know and start feeling somewhat where they fit in. And it can't be standing around watching those 2 guys play or turn the ball over with them trying to do too much.
What do you like from Olivier that makes you say he only needs time?
Well, he's young, and you know what? He's a very explosive athlete that hasn't learned how to use it yet. The game's got to slow down for him, but he's a guy that can truly play above the rim. He's a terrific offensive rebounder. He's got to learn the biggest thing I think he's going to have to learn is he can't stand back in lane like he did in high school when guys are sometimes going to have 5 guys on the perimeter. He's giving up too much separation, and he's slow reacting. He's going to have to learn to do his work early, away from the ball. He can move his feet. Olivier can shoot the ball. He's just got to slow down. The same with Josiah. Those guys have got to slow down. They're good basketball players, but when you play at a pace where you're just some of the things that they do, I'm like, I don't even see that in practice. So it goes back to the jitters in the game. It goes back to thinking I've got to do something great every time I touch the ball, and that doesn't – you don't have to do that. A perfect example is both Jalen and Ticket, who did a terrific job. Ball found them. They weren't going out trying to make it. I got to have the ball. They were playing without the ball, and I thought those guys played with good pace and letting the offense work. Our offense is going to get you shots. I promise you. If we execute our offense, the shots are there. when guys bog down is when they try to go, and we want our guys to be aggressive. We've worked hard on driving the ball and doing some things, but we've also talked about getting our post guys involved, and these numbers don't lie, and they're entitled to miss some shots too. I mean, everybody thinks it goes inside. They think those shots around the basket are easy. They're not. But the more they get it, the more, because I know Folky can score. I know how hard Eve works at it. And I know that once Olivier gets settled down and learns to play in tight space, he's going to be a terrific scorer. I know that about him. And but you know, like I said, we're a little limited tonight. But I thought Asheville played hard. They did exactly. We had no film on them before the game, but they did exactly what Coach Oliver said they would do, the way they would play. And their pressure, really, all they were trying to do was deny Lamonte the ball. They weren't doing anything other than doing that and letting somebody else handle the ball. And like I said, I don't have a problem with that because I think Josiah and Bowden can do that if they take care of the ball.
Rick, are you getting more from Ticket at this point than you would have expected, especially given the injury?
Yeah, because he's still playing with a little cast on his hand, and he'll settle down the more he's out there. You know, he's got a 7'2" wingspan, and he'll get his hands on some things, and he can shoot the ball. He's going to find out too. He had Tick can put his hand on top of the square, and he let a guy block a shot from behind. You know, he needs to. Again, it's all new for those guys. I mean, Ticket, Olivier, Josiah, those guys are learning some things that it's just going to take some time and getting some experience out there. But to answer your question, Ticket was probably the biggest surprise coming out after he got here in the spring and coming through the summer. We were really, really happy with him, and he was playing really good basketball. Then he, like Josiah, missed a very critical time of the year. And in October, but he's come back and he's going to help us.
Coach, just Eves tonight. I mean, 6 of 8 shooting, and from what you saw him, are you encouraged? You know, defensively, he's going to be able to do what you need him to do inside.
He can because you know his ability and again he's learning a new position. You know, we wish we could have done with him a couple of years ago what we did with Adam. We'll start him inside, move him outside. We had to go the other way with him because of our depth up front the last couple of years, and so he's going the other way, you know, from the inside to the outside. But he works so hard, and I thought he improved a lot from our last exhibition game to right now. And he'll again, it's going to be neat watching those guys grow as we keep going through here. But it still goes back, Rob. Our guards have got to understand they got to help those guys and get them the ball when they need the ball, and not wait and let those guys get it, and because they move well without the ball. And but we need Eve to rebound. I didn't look at the stats really. I don't know how many rebounds he's gotten tonight, but how many? 7. But I told him I wanted him to get 10. I thought between him and Folky and Olivier, those guys can go get it. Our guards can rebound it, but at the end when we were just slopping around out there, when we had 3 or 4 rebounds we should have gotten, and we didn't, just because they were wanting to go score and not go get the ball first.
Rick, with Eve, is he a guy who obviously you wouldn't bring a guy here if you didn't think he could score the basketball, but that's not been what he's been asked to do a lot the past couple of years. Did you feel like he could become a guy who could be a kind of a consistent scorer?
He can because, again, of his work ethic. I mean, he's a great worker. I mean, again, I could put him up there with anybody we've had since we've been coaching. I mean, he works at it. He's going to do everything he can to try to do it right to a fault, to be quite honest with you. You know, he's pretty hard on himself. He's going to have to get over that as long as he makes good decisions. And, again, he's learning how to play a little bit different with his back to the basket, which he's capable of doing. But, you know, we like him to get the ball some and turn and drive because he's very explosive doing that. And he's still learning how to fight for his space on the court in this new position compared to where he is. But he's worked really hard at becoming all through, I think if I'm right here, if you go back through our preseason and we stat everything we do in practice, I think he's been our leading three-point shooter. He's been shooting over 50%. So when he shoots it, we feel good about it, and because we stat it. And but we don't want him to just to drift out there and do that all the time. Now we do know we can spread out and do some things, but he will continue to get better because he doesn't want to disappoint anybody.
Coach, obviously some disciplinary issues tonight, allowing too many offensive rebounds, a couple turnovers for sure. But how do you feel about the overall energy the team gave tonight?
Well, these guys, they're going to play hard, and the teams you play now, I mean, everybody can play a little bit. It's not like, people come in and they're going to do what they do, and they've got guys. I mean, they've got a player that started out at NC State, and I mean, the teams have players, and I think again that every night you play, the key is that you want to play hard, but you want to play smart. We haven't played smart for 2 games. We've let, and you guys have watched us practice. We play at a pretty fast pace. But we get in the game, and then all at once, certain guys just space out and forget the purpose we're playing with. But you do expect that with young guys. I mean, there's no question you expect that to happen. And there's no doubt that Josiah and Tickett missed some very valuable time. I mean, there's no question. And I think we get everybody healthy. I mean, I like these guys a lot. I mean, I love Lamonte Turner and Jordan Bowden. I love those guys. And I have really, really high expectations for them. Do I think they're going to play perfect? I don't. Do I expect them to do better than they've done it at this point, taking care of the ball? Absolutely. And because, again, those guys, the chemistry on this team in the locker room is as good as any we've had since we've been here, and it's because of those 2 guys. Folky knows that we need a lot from him. Eve knows that we expect a lot from him. But we know that Olivier, Josiah, Tickett, Drew Pember, who else am I getting? Those guys need. I thought Jalen was good tonight. I thought Jalen took one tough shot. They weren't understanding the clock, but at the end of the game, it's more my fault. I had a group out there that we couldn't do the things that we would practice in those last 4 minutes. That's my fault. But still, our guards should have played better in those situations, not just jacking shots up, coming down, with a lead and shooting the ball the first 10 seconds. I mean, 10-point, 13-point lead with a minute and a half to go is nothing. People may think it is. I mean, I think our women tonight had a 10-point lead with a minute to go in the game and had to fight for their life. And that's where we'll get smarter. And all those were plays that were made by some young guys. But, again, the older guys should be out there talking, leading, and directing that. All right, thank you, guys.